Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video and Blind Woman Recommends. Happy Tuesday. These are my recommendations for after Ouran High School Host Club. If you haven't yet, check out my content, my previous content for the show. It is linked below, and without further ado, let's begin. So the first thing I have in mind is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Basically, this book is about how this guy, he's literally like living on Earth, but the Earth ends up exploding, and he is rescued by his friend, and they end up going into space, and he's right now the last person, the last Earth, the last human to basically live because he was rescued. So the next two books are actually from the same author, and those are Daughter of Smoke and Bone and Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I'm recommending the series for both of them. Strange the Dreamer is a duology. Daughter of Smoke and Bone is basically a trilogy with like a little novella called A Night of Cake and Puppets, like right in the middle, but I have not read that one. I actually need to read it. I know this. And I will. I promise. Anyway. So, Daughter of Smoke and Bone follows Karu, who basically works for this chimera, I guess you can say, and also like these people, and they're from like a different world, but she's like the only human. Um, um, and basically they at some point they end up disappearing, and she is trying to figure out what happened to them. And Strange the Dreamer follows Laszlo Strange, um who is basically a junior librarian. And when the Tizer come to, which are these warriors, come to his like kingdom looking for help, he ends up going along with them, and he goes on his new adventure. Now we're moving on now to the watch list, which I have, and number 4 is Fruits Basket. I recommend both of them, but I am especially recommending the 2001 original because they kind of came out at the same time. But Fruits Basket follows um, our main character, um, Toru, who lives in a tent, but due to certain circumstances, ends up moving into the house of the Somas and finds out that they are under a curse. And that is that when they are hugged by the opposite sex, they turn into one of the Chinese zodiac animals. And it's super cute, and we follow them. The next thing I recommend, number 5, is Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. This is a slice of life anime following uh, Uzaki Hana. I think it's Hana. Yeah, Hana. Um, and she and this other student whose name I cannot quite remember, and they're both in college, but she went to the same high school with him, and she's trying to get him kind of like out of his shell. And each episode is basically them on a new adventure. Also, fun fact, Monica Rial wrote uh voices Uzaki Hana. So yeah. Also, this anime has a whole lot of controversy, and I'm going to talk about it later on uh if I whenever I review it. So, yeah. Number 6, Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. I did an entire playlist on that, and I have a bunch of videos on it, so I'll link those below for you guys. But basically, there's a war between the human world and the demon world, and the human princess gets taken captive, and yet all she wants is to go to sleep. That's all it's about. Number 7 is Violet Evergarden. Violet Evergarden follows our main character, Violet, who after the war has no purpose, and she eventually ends up becoming an auto memories doll, which are these people who write letters for other people, kind of like scribes. And she does this in order to find out what the last 3 words that her major said mean. And those words were, I love you. And we watch her on her emotional journey and understanding these emotions and all the very fun stuff. Honestly, watching Violet Evergarden is like emotional therapy because you go through all these emotions with her and you just want to protect her because she's so precious. Number 8, I would recommend Hellsing. And Hellsing is not a soft anime. I am specifically not recommending Ultimate. I'm recommending Hellsing, the original 13 episode anime, because they actually came out in the early 2000s as well. I think it came out 2001 while the manga was still running. So it's kind of like a little product advertisement. So why not? Hellsing follows this organization, also known as Hellsing, and they basically kill vampires with Alucard, who is also a vampire himself. And in one of their missions, Sarah's Victoria gets caught in this, and he asks her, do you want me to turn you into a vampire? And she agrees because she doesn't want to die. She's like, it's like, do you want to, like, you know, you want to live, you want to die. She gets turned into a vampire and ends up joining their organization. It's honestly an interesting thing. So I'd recommend it. It's violent and it's not light, but it is interesting because it came out in the same time frame, kind of like 2001. So yeah. Number 9, The Rising of the Shield Hero. I also have a couple of videos on that, so definitely keep an eye on that. So basically, The Rising of the Shield Hero follows Naofumi, who was looking in the library for like a new light novel to read and ends up finding a book about these 4 heroes. The bow hero, the sword hero, the spear hero, and the shield hero. But upon reading, he can't find anything on the shield hero. And then he, along with 3 other men, end up getting summoned to this other world and basically asked to be helped for this to save this world from the waves. Now, when they're about to go in their adventure, however, no one joins the shield hero's party. And eventually, though, one girl does. And when she does, however, she ends up seducing him to buying her armor and all the fun stuff. And then she ends up stealing his belongings and accusing him of a crime he did not commit. And from there on out, his advantages and everything else kind of get taken away, as well as his resources, now he has to kind of do whatever he can to survive in this world. Yeah, pretty harsh. Number 10 is What If. What If, specifically Marvel's What If. It's basically a Disney Plus original series where it takes like the events of the original Marvel films and puts them in different situations. It's kind of interesting. I watched the first. I actually have never finished it, but I watched the first episode and I liked it. I figured why not recommend it, you know. Number 11, Winx Club. Winx Club follows Bloom, who is originally from Earth and finds out she's a fairy when she ends up seeing this girl fight like this ogre, and she ends up defending her. And she goes to Althea and goes to her, you know, to this school, learning to be a fairy. And last but not least, Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is a very well-known series, I'm sure, and I will be doing videos on that as well soon. So Avatar: The Last Airbender follows Aang, and he is found by Kitara and Sokka, the brother and sister, and basically they find out he is that he is basically an airbender, the very last one actually, and due to that, they eventually find out that he is the Avatar and that he has been in that iceberg for 100 years. And now they go on a journey, a quest, if you will, to find teachers to teach him the other three elements, which are water, earth, and fire. And they basically, that's like the main overarching plot in the beginning. But then you find out that he has to learn the three elements before Sozin's comet arrives by the end of summer in order to defeat the Fire Lord Ozai. So those are my 12 recommendations for you guys. Enjoy. I hope you like this video. I hope you liked all I recommended. Come back tomorrow for a review of Claymore, which I learned about through a video on YouTube from a channel called Bonsai Pop. So I'll talk about that tomorrow, but come back for the review, which will also be spoiler free. So it will be a spoiler free review because I honestly feel like you should also experience the series on your own. It's a really good series, guys, and I have nothing but praise. But come back tomorrow for my review. And with that, I will see you, and until tomorrow, consume stories.